Okay, so I'm going to do a form analysis 101 video on the 4 Blackbook runners that won today out of 9 runners around Australia, and just go back and look at how we found them, when we found them, and why they went into the Blackbook. This is a good form analysis video for people to understand about how I Blackbook a horse and how I find a horse that goes into the Blackbook. 4 winners today: Megami in Northam Race 5 at 2.5, Alenia, Sapphire Coast Race 4 at $8, Precious Charm, Warrnambool Race 6 at 4.20, and Storm the Ramparts 2.80 at Gosford Race 4. And you'll see the Blackbook goes back to Happy Valley Race 5 on the 1st of the 11th, so total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total runners for the day. So good level stakes profit on turnover, but this video is about how and why I Blackbook a horse, looking in retrospect back to when I found them. We'll start with Storm the Ramparts, which won Gosford Race 4 at 2.80. I prefer to use Racing New South Wales as a database to quickly pull up horses because it gives you it interacts much quicker with Racing Australia, and that's just a licensing agreement they've got between the two clubs, blah blah blah. But anyway, so Storm the Ramparts showed a lot of ability in its early career. Now let's remember, we put this horse into the Blackbook on the 1st of the 11th, yesterday. Okay. Now, showed a lot of ability, knocked on the door, suggesting it could be a Blackbook horse with its early 2-year-old form. 3rd to Soldier of Rome, 3rd to Introducing, 3rd to Rush Hour, 4th to Everlong in the Wellington Boot. Good maidens, the form stacked up out of those, but then changed yards from Mark Newnham to Joseph Pride off a 26-week spell, and came out and won these 2 trials impressively. Obviously through form I was doing on Wednesday in Sydney in the Super Maiden, this horse has come up on the radar again. It was engaged to run in Sydney on Wednesday, scratched to run on Thursday, went straight into the Blackbook, knowing that it's going to go into a weaker maiden at Gosford, and Julie won carrying 60.5 at 2.70. So, off strong Sydney 2-year-old maiden form around group class horses, not prepared to Blackbook it then, but then on the back of winning 2 trials, obviously trained on, being a son of Headwater, a son of Invincible Spirit, a son of Exceed and Excel, who gets better 3-year-olds than 2-year-olds, and turning to a yard that knows how to improve a horse by a couple of lengths with Joseph Pride, need to go into the Blackbook. Comes out and wins today. This is a classic example of a horse that can go into the Blackbook and then win very quickly after. That's why it's important as soon as you find a horse to put it into the Blackbook, because you never know when it's going to show up. The second of them, Precious Charm. Warrnambool Race 6, 4.20, went into the Blackbook on the 25th of the 3rd. As I said, I don't make notes about horses I put in the Blackbook, because I know by looking at the date that I put them into the Blackbook, I can go back and quickly ascertain why I put them into the Blackbook. Okay, so Precious Charm went in on the 25th of the 3rd, 4-year-old mare by Per Encanto, leading New Zealand sire, son of Ifraj. Came out and won on the 26th of March, and then won again today. Okay, so one on the 26th of March tells me I must have been looking at form around that period of time. Obviously, went into the Blackbook the day before that. So if I go back and look at form from Victoria through racing.com, because you need to remember that jump out form is not produced publicly in public race databases. So you're only going to get race form, trial form for Victoria. So we need then to go to racing.com to look at jump out form. So this jump out, the Precious Charm ran second in, was on the 9th of March. It went into the Blackbook on the 25th of March. So from this jump out, on the 9th of March, where it's ran second, Lover Zoo was back in third. Okay, that's a strong form reference. I remember Lover Zoo, and I know how well that horse has gone since. Obviously, I've watched a jump out replay of that race and pinpointed Precious Charm as the horse to watch out of that. I'm not going to go into the race replay. You see me do other videos on how to analyse jump outs and race replays and stuff like that. But then when I go and pull up Lover Zoo in reference to that, okay, so looking at that jump out from the 9th of March back to when I blackbooked Precious Charm on the 25th of March. Lover Zoo won on debut on the 25th of March, or ran second on debut on the 25th of March behind Bossy Nick. Now, I remember backing Treasure Way in the Thoroughbred Breeders that day at Group 3 level. Lover Zoo finished second, Treasure Way back in third. So that renewal of the Thoroughbred Breeders was a strong renewal. I remember that just off the top of my head. Lover Zoo has finished 2.5 lengths second, Treasure Way back in third. That tells me that if it's a strong renewal of the Thoroughbred Breeders at Group 3 level, and I blackbooked Treasure Way off trial form prior to that, or jump out form, that the two horses that beat at home need to go into the black book, or I need to look at them to ascertain why they beat Treasure Way. So that's another angle I'll use to black book horses potentially. Then Lover Zoo came out and broke its maiden first up off a 26-week spell at Geelong, 3.3 into 2.8, point proven. The third one, Alenia, Sapphire Coast, race 4, $8. Great price. Went into the black book on the 5th of the 3rd. Let's find out why. One of the great facets of blackbooking horses is people generally will go through race results day to day to try and blackbook horses. One of the big advantages I have is I blackbook horses when I come across them when I'm doing form on certain races. I go, that horse has just beaten that horse by 6.5 lengths, and the form reference I'm looking at says it should be 3.5 lengths in front on a par. Now, I need to go and look at that horse that's beaten this horse by 6.5. Why did it win by 6.5? And why is that par 3 lengths better than everything else in this race? It mightn't be racing today. I don't need to look at day-to-day results to find blackbook horses. That 6.5 lengths versus 3.5 lengths makes that horse put its hand up and say, back me, or tell me why not to back me. So I'll go and then delve into the form of that, out of that race where it was 6.5 lengths better instead of 3.5 lengths better, and I ask myself the question, why did this happen? And that's when I'll potentially put a horse into the black book. So it's a day-to-day basis when you're doing form, always to have in the back of your head, there are certain horses that can go into a black book when they stand up on paper and they say, I'm better than everything else around the form you're looking at the moment. Okay, Alenia. 5-year-old mare by a Stern out of Sicilian Miss. I know Sicilian Miss is a brood mare. She's pretty good, produces good horses. A Stern, son of Medaglia Dioro, does good things. 2 from 13 winner. Went into the black book on the 5th of the 3rd. Now, if we go and have a look at this, the 5th of the 3rd is this day here, where it ran 3rd to Barney Rubble and the Light Fandango. It was obviously this race I was looking at on this day because there is no other form. I'll just go and pull up all form. There is no other form there that says it needs to go into the black book. Okay, so what happened on the 5th of the 3rd? Ran third to Barney Rubble in the Light Fandango, beaten 1.7, was back from 6 into 5.0. If I dig a little bit deeper back, it's knocked off Osman and Running Bear in a trial at Muswellbrook. So obviously when I was doing this form for this race at Grafton on the 5th of the 3rd, this trial's popped up, and we all know how much I'm big on trials, and it's knocked off Osman and Running Bear. That form reference has since been franked. Osman's come out and been smart. Running Bear's come out and been smart since then. I've watched that trial and gone, oh, okay, it's won that trial impressively. I'm not going to go into showing the video replay of that trial now, but that's obviously where I blackbooked that horse from. That trial win over Osman and Running Bear on the 4th of January. It's taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 starts for it to then win, but we've got $8 about it after 6 starts. So if you had $10 on it at each of those 6 starts, minus 10, minus 20, minus 30, minus 40, minus 50, wins $8, $20 in front. $20 on a $60 outlay, 33% profit on turnover. Any professional punter is happy to make a 20% profit on turnover. So by following that horse for 6 runs across 10 months or 8 months since we found it in at the start of March, we've finally got a 33% profit on turnover out of that horse. And also has been placed twice, come out and ran third to Darcy Diva at $17 and then ran third to Barney Rubble at $5. So it's been a positive ROI horse. The 4th one, Megami, Northern Race 5. It's won a few times for us. This horse is prominent in my mind because I've seen it show up in the Black Book numerous times. Went in the Black Book on the 12th of the 1st. Has now been in for 10 months. Okay, probably a horse that needs to come out of the Black Book now. It's been in for a fair while. 4-year-old mare by Playing God out of Failsafe. 5 from 23 winner. Let's remember it went into the Black Book on the 12th of the 1st. So that's the imperative date to look at in reference to this horse. The 12th of the 1st puts us the day after this third to Crystal Dream. Okay, so I've probably blackbooked this horse, put it on the list on the 11th of the 12th, on the 11th of January, and then it's went into the Black Book on the 12th of January when I've updated the list. So obviously I'm looking at form for this 1600 metre race on the 11th, and I've blackbooked it off this win over Dirty Chine Red Cadillac on the 28th of December. Then went and ran third in the race that we blackbooked it into. Third again at Pinjarra on the inside track. Then came out and won 2-1N quickly for us at prohibitive prices. Did nothing for another 7-8 starts. But then once it got back out to this sort of trip, 1650 metres where it showed its peak, 5th up this preparation, wins again. Okay? It's got an SP profile of a horse that isn't showing any advantage for us or any upside. So really exposed, needs to come out of the Black Book now, even though it's won for us again. So that's just a quick video to show you how, why and when I'll Black Book horses and the different techniques I'll use to find a horse to put a horse into the Black Book. It's not about watching videos. It's not about looking at breeding. It's not about doing form race to race. It's about different factors and letting the horse identify itself as a horse to look further, deeper into to potentially Black Book. And 1 + 1 needs to equal 2. Okay, that's a form analysis 101 video on different techniques I use to Black Book horses and then looking back at them to understand why I Black Booked them. The date is very important. Thanks.